Welcome to the Creative Cast. I'm your host, Tammy Munson, podcast producer, coach, and CEO of Wildfire Creative. Are you struggling to grow and monetize your podcast? Want to learn more about starting your own podcast? Are you looking for the secrets behind the business side of podcasting? Well, friends, you are in the right place. Here on the Creative Cast, I'm going to be sharing all the tips and tricks on all things podcasting for the faith-based podcaster. Each episode is going to contain powerful information to help you get started with your own podcast, learn the secrets of building a business, and of course, growing and monetizing your podcast. All right, y'all, without further ado, let's get started. And welcome to the Creative Cast. I am so glad y'all are here joining me today because this is a very, very special episode. Two reasons. One, I have a very special guest that is joining me on this episode, and we'll get to who that is in just a moment. But today is my birthday. Yes, yours truly is the big 5-0. And because of that big milestone, I'm going to have a much different episode today. So I invited my good friend, Melody Balot, here on the show. She's a social media extraordinaire and fellow queso lover to help me celebrate. And she's going to be taking over the show today. So welcome, Mel. I am so glad that you're here.
Thanks for having me on, Tammy, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Big 5-0. You put the number out there, so I don't feel bad putting it out there as well.
No, I'm all in, you know? It's a privilege to be this age. It's a privilege.
I like that. I like that attitude. I know anytime we come to big milestone birthdays, it goes one of two ways. It's either like dreading it, midlife crisis type thing, or it's fully owning it and just putting it out there and being like, you know what? This is how it is. Life is different, and I'm just going to own it. And I love that about you.
Yeah. I was like that in my 40s when I turned 40, but we were in the thick of, we had one in high school, one in middle school, and it was just crazy 10 years ago. And now I'm like, my kids are, we're pretty much empty nesters. One's finishing up college next year, which just is weird to even say that. But I am loving it. And so, yes, the big 5-0 today.
Well, I'm honored to do this podcast takeover. First question, how does it feel to be in the hot seat? Normally you're on the other side. And
I know it's bizarre. I do podcast guesting occasionally.
Yeah.
But usually I'm talking about podcasting, answering a question and things I answer all the time. And y'all, I have no idea what she's going to ask me.
I know, that's what I was just going to say. We're breaking the cardinal rule of podcasting. Everything you've taught your clients, everything we say on social media, have an outline, have your questions prepped. I just thought it would be fun to sit down with you, talk heart to heart, kind of coffee chat style, and just share a little bit behind the scenes, because we know most of your subscribers have been here for a while. Most of your followers, it's not new. We know the Tammy Munson, the queso lover, the big fan of Chick-fil-A, Southern sweet tea drinking sassy big sister. We know that you're the CEO of Wildfire Creative Company. We know you've got your husband Dan, your 2 adult daughters. We know you've been in this podcasting game since like 2005. I mean, everybody knows all that stuff. But today I thought it would be great to just kind of find out behind the scenes, Tammy, what brought you here and where are you going? Big 5-0. We're going to look a little bit in the past, a little bit at the present, a little bit at the future. So you ready?
Yes, let's do this. I am all in. Let's go.
Well, I'm going to warm you up a little bit. We're going to do some word association just to kind of get things.
I'm scared.
Get relaxed. Okay, so we all know how this game works. I say a word, you say the first word that comes to mind. Okay, you ready for this?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Well, the first one I have on my list is queso.
Brisket.
Okay, so no, we can't stop at just one word. You have to explain this.
So a friend of mine, I have several amazing friends that live in Texas, and they have all told me if you like regular queso, which I love and Melody loves as well, that you have to try brisket queso. I'm like, I like brisket. I like queso. This is going to be a match made in heaven. So later today, I will be trying, when I'm in Dallas, I will be trying brisket queso. So I will report back. And there's probably going to be an Instagram post. So at some point, like, today, tomorrow, the next day, whenever it happens. But yes.
Yep. Okay. Another one, Murphy.
Trouble.
So for those of you that don't know, Murphy is Tammy's beloved dog. You can find pictures of it all over the gram. Sweet, sweet thing.
All over.
Trouble.
He is trouble with a capital T. He's a pit bull boxer mix. I love him dearly, but there are days I'm like, those of you that have been in the military and know all about Murphy's Law, and we don't talk about the thing, this dog is the definition of Murphy's Law. If something's going to go wrong, it will go wrong with this dog.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When I say pumpkin spice, you say,
ugh.
Is that even a word? Ugh.
I'm making it a word for today. It's my birthday. I get to do whatever I want, right? So it's a word today. So no notes, y'all. It may not be an actual word, but I do not like it. I'm sorry.
We've had some heated conversations on social media about this, how the rest of the world loses their mind over pumpkin spice. But I mean,
I don't get it. My own daughter, my own child. I'm like, what? Where did I go wrong with you? Stop. Don't bring that stuff in my house. I love her still.
Okay. How about New Orleans?
Food.
Explain your association with New Orleans.
So I was born and raised in New Orleans. I love everything about New Orleans. It's the food. It's the live music. It's the vibe. It's the birthplace of jazz. I mean, we celebrate for everything. I mean, it's king cake season right now. Super excited about that. I'm not getting any right now. I had some last week, but it's okay. I'm down with it. But yes, New Orleans was where born and raised, and I absolutely love my hometown.
I love it. Rosie the Riveter.
Tough.
She
is one tough lady. She is the epitome of all military wives.
If you've ever seen Tammy on camera, on Zoom, on Riverside, she's got a poster of Rosie the Riveter in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew that was something that was special to her. Where'd you get that poster? Was it just something that caught your eye?
I've always loved that kind of World War II iconic look.
Yeah.
My husband actually found that. I think he ordered it off of probably Amazon because, that's usually what we do in this house.
Yeah.
But I've loved her forever while we were in the military. I loved her. And then I used to own a t-shirt company called Bravo Tango. And she was the very first t-shirt that we made in honor of her, of tough, strong military ladies. So she means a lot to me back there. Yeah.
I gotta get my hands on one of those shirts. Or is any of that merchandise still available? Archives?
I may have a couple in my closet.
Okay.
That are still out there. Occasionally on Fridays, because Red Fridays, for those in military, red means remember everyone deployed. A lot of times I still wear red on Fridays, especially if I'm going to be on camera or an event or something. And there are a couple I may have to see about getting one to a certain person on this call.
So special. So special. Okay, last one, storytelling.
Ooh, truth.
That's good.
I've loved storytelling since I was a little girl. Well, back then I read a lot. Now I just listen to books. It's just easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always really intrigued of, well, what happens next? What's the next part of that story? And why did they do that? And so as I discovered podcasting, I love listening to other people tell their stories. Obviously movies do it, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. But podcasting, I look at it as each episode is its own story, because you're going to learn things about the person that you didn't know before.
Mm-hmm.
And you may find someone who you didn't think you had something in common with. You absolutely do have something in common with. It brings us all closer together. Thank you, friend. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you've already talked a little bit about this, but I thought we would go into the past a little bit, talk about some of your former jobs, talk about Tammy as a child, little Tammy. What did your parents have a nickname for you? Were there's just Tammy or
Tam was the quick name. My dad either called me Kitty Cat or Half Pint. I don't know where Kitty Cat came from. I'm allergic to cats. So we only had a cat for a very short time, but half pint was the other thing, because if you've ever met me in person, you know, I'm really tiny. I'm only 5'2".
Important stature. Yeah. But it's okay. Nicknames really never make sense. The best ones never make any sense. So
No.
I like it. Kitty cat.
Thank
Tam.
you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, when you were a kid, Miss Tam, what did you have a dream job as you were a kid? Was there something that you were like, yeah, when I grow up, I want to be?
Well, the first one was a vet,
Yeah.
because I love dogs.
Yeah.
I love pretty much all animals. Cats are not my favorite because they make me sneeze. But I mean, loved cows and sheep and goats. And if I had an acreage, that's what I would have. I would have Highland cows that I would just hang out with all day. I learned more about what being a vet was. I'm like, I don't want to do that to the doggies. I just want to be in a room with dogs.
Yeah. A lot of medical stuff.
So I wanted to be a teacher, learn new things, and teach others how to do things. And so I guess in a way, I'm still kind of doing that. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was anything that ever hinted, did you ever think you would become a podcaster? I guess back in 1973, it wasn't even a category, but did you ever think you would be in media or entrepreneurship, a business owner?
No, I mean, not really. Back when I was little, I mean, I did gymnastics for 10 years and I was an athlete, through most of my childhood and teenage years. So that's really what I thought. I was going to go to the Olympics one day and, be like, little Mary Lou Retton, being on a Wheaties box. But,
Yes.
but it was never anything like this. But when I discovered it, it had that storytelling component to it that just spoke to me. And I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Share a little bit about some of your other jobs that you've had. You talked about the t-shirt company. What are some other things that you did that led up to all this?
We had like this little local yogurt place. So those of people in New Orleans will know Zach's Yogurt. I worked at a Zach's Yogurt. I worked in a bagel shop for a while, worked in a movie theater for a little bit. All the retail places, of course, my beloved Target. Never worked at a Chick-fil-A because I was like, I want to love Chick-fil-A forever.
Exactly.
And if I worked there, I knew I wouldn't.
Yeah. So lots of food, some retail.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the t-shirt shop. What do you think, out of those, like, what skills do you think led you to be successful as a podcaster today, as a podcast coach, producer, editor, kind of anything that comes to mind?
The lessons that I learned as an athlete really kind of stayed with me. I had great gymnastics coaching for 10 years. And some of those lessons, you need to figure out where do you want to go? And then let's create the plan to get there. And we got to visualize that that's what we're going to do. Yeah. God is there with us at all times, but sometimes we just have to visualize it in our head. So when we come up against that imposter syndrome that a lot, especially new podcasters or people who want to launch a podcast, they get stuck in that imposter syndrome. Yeah. It's some of those lessons that I learned that I pull from things that coaches told me when I was like maybe 13 years old, that I go, they need to hear this. They need to hear that lecture that I got, where I'm probably rolling my eyes at. Yeah. But I use those same lessons, those same things in some of the coaching that I do with clients. And when I need it myself, I pull from those things.
Oh, that's so fascinating. My daughter, 7 years old, recently we got her enrolled in gymnastics. And so just hearing you say that personally, selfishly, that makes me so happy to hear the kinds of skills, that translate. I know even for myself, when I look back at my journey, I can tell nothing was wasted, different college courses, different little part-time jobs. God uses every piece in part to kind of bring us to the calling that he has for us. And I can see that with you in podcasting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's all of the things I've ever done have got me to where I am right now. Every single thing, from doing web design to making graphics, to helping other military wives with figuring out their life as a new military wife. All the things have made me who I am today. And I'm pretty proud of that. I mean, yeah, so many people and experiences and lessons and skills and all the things they make us who we are.
Yeah, that's actually where I was going next, to just talk about kind of the present day, where we are. So it's 2023, 50 years old.
Yeah.
You've got a thriving coaching, editing, production company, Wildfire Creative Company. You just rebranded. You've brought on new team members. You've brought on new clients. I mean, doubled, tripled in size in the last few years. You got a lot to be proud of, Tammy.
Crazy.
I mean, for you, does anything stand out? Kind of what's been one of your proudest moments, or what are you most proud of right now as it stands?
Right now, on a professional level, where the business is. Almost 3 years ago, I was very independent. It was just me. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing. My youngest daughter had just, was getting ready to graduate from high school. And God plainly said, here's your next step. And I was like, wait, what? like, no. Is it really?
When you say next step, you mean kind of growing the company and taking...
Yeah, growing the company, taking it to the next level, rebranding, all the things. And I had no idea how I was going to get there. I mean, I knew God was going to put things and or people in my life in order to accomplish that goal. And he did. I was at Blissdom with our good friend Allie. And she's talking about, what are you going to do next year? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do next week. What? Don't ask me about next year.
Right.
But there were so many things that happened at that event that kind of springboarded everything else. I seeked out a coach. I really started to look at, what do I need to do for me that's going to take me to the next level so that I can help others go to the next level. Yeah. What skills do I need to hone in on? What internal work do I need to do? And so we just started doing that, and we started slowly and adding newer clients. And the biggest thing was that we took it from working with everybody to only working with faith-based podcasts.
Oh, okay.
And that has been the thing that just made it skyrocket. And then when we rebranded, I wasn't really sure where we were going with the rebrand. And so I hired my friend's company, Two Tone Creative in Des Moines, Iowa. And I said, here's a couple of things. Here's kind of what I like, what I don't like, all those things. And they came up with Wildfire. And I was like, yep, that's it. That's what God told me in 2019. He gave me images of fire. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is exactly what I'm meant to do and where I'm meant to be. And it was all on his time, not mine.
Sure.
I would have wanted to do it like in early January 2020. Okay, let's get this going.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, so I'm pretty proud of all of that and sticking to it even through the pandemic. I mean, who launches a business in the middle of a pandemic? Me. That's who.
You. You.
And even with the economy last year and all the things, we've made it through all that, and we're doing really well. We just brought on 2 more team members just this morning. So I feel very, very
incredible,
lucky and blessed, of course, always blessed.
Yeah. So 2 questions come to mind from that. So for someone who was in a similar spot that you were maybe, a few years ago, they were just a one-woman show, but they had, big dreams. What advice would you give them? Or maybe what would you tell yourself back in that, take yourself back a few years before this evolved to where it is? What would you say to that person or to yourself?
I would say, get that fear and doubt out of your head. If you can do this, you can do it. It's not going to be instantaneous. It's going to take time. There's going to be days where you're going to want to throw in the towel and be like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Let somebody else have this. And just keep your eyes focused on the big prize.
Yeah.
Dream, and don't be afraid to dream big. Because I think for a lot of us, we go, oh, this is my big dream. But it's not as big as what we know we can dream. And we have to go, if you think you have a big dream, 10 times that. What is the absolute craziest, biggest dream that you can think of? And that's the thing you should do.
Wow.
And that's exactly what we did.
I love how you said, don't worry about the fear if you can do it. It's just like remove the word if altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And I also appreciate how you mentioned the inevitable, discouragement and imposter syndrome that comes in. I mean, if you don't mind sharing, Tammy, was there ever a time that you wanted to quit or give up? And if so, how did you pull through? I mean, what kept you going? Because podcasting is it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Absolutely. A couple of things. First of all, God. You got to take it to him.
Yeah.
A lot of times when, and there were a couple of instances of things that happened, especially when I got really, really sick following COVID and the dysautonomia that I talk about on Instagram. There were times where I'm like, maybe I should just shut it all down. Maybe that's what I'm being told to do now.
Yeah.
And by talking with my husband and of course his support and prayer and journaling and a kick butt business coach that will kick you in the butt if you start to say, I can't do this. He says, oh yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to do it. I said so. A combination of all of those things, plus really good friends and support system and women in called creatives. If I said, hey, I need a prayer request, or I'm struggling with this, that, or the other thing, the support was there. The motivation, the inspiration was always there. Mm-hmm. So if you're in that space and you're thinking, maybe I'm just meant to hang this up. Maybe I'm meant to not record my podcast anymore because I only have 35 downloads this episode.
Yeah.
Keep at it. Keep doing the hard thing. It's not always going to be easy, but it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good word. And I know, a lot of listeners, we all go through this, just wondering. You've talked a lot already about hearing from God and kind of getting some direction and clarity from him. Yeah. I know this whole podcast isn't, about that, but even if you could just share a few brief sentences on when someone's saying, well, I don't know if God's talking to me or not, or if this is my dream or if this is his dream, how did you kind of sort that out? You talk about super big dreams. How do you wrestle that down of if it's from me or if it's from God, and what's, which path do I go?
The one thing that I kept telling myself, whether it's me and my striving for the brass ring, so to speak, was if it's God's will, I can't stop it from happening. If it's my will, nothing's going to go the way I want it.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to quote scripture. I just don't know the Bible that well in order to do that. But what I can say is someone told me that, and that was the one thing I kept, no matter when we lost 5 clients in a week or the chronic illness was kicking my butt, literally, it was always like, if I'm meant to do this, all the things will align the way they're supposed to because God is making that happen. And I just kept thinking about that. And the more I thought about that, we lost 5 clients in a week, pretty much. But then I got another one the following week. And then I got another one a little bit after that. And then we started to get back to where we were. And that's when you got to look back. Sometimes you have to look back and go, I see where I was and I'm over here now. So it's okay.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is just because we struggle, that's not a sign that it's not the right direction. Struggle is inevitable. Right. There are going to be challenges in your business, but just being able to lean back on, if this is still moving forward, I know I'm in the right spot.
Yes.
Yeah. Looking towards the future, we've got, I'm trying to think like the next 50 years, what that'll be. 2073. So
good Lord.
Let's imagine it's the year 2073, Miss Tammy Munson. What does life look like for you and your family 50 years from now?
Honestly, I hope I'm in heaven.
Some people want to grow to break that record, 100 years old, but you're saying no.
No, I'm like, I really hope the Lord calls me home way before that. I mean, not like right now. I'm not ready.
Sure.
But, but if I am here, I hope that the legacy that I've started here with the podcast is the thing that people remember about me, the legacy that I have with my children and the work that I've done to help grow podcasting as well as women stepping into the calling that God has for them.
Well, I know it well. You've got, such a wide range of clients, so many different industries that you're now involved in, a lot of them, young up and coming podcasters. And so, I think you can say with confidence, you've got a little piece of their story that you're help putting out there. It's like that domino effect. And so
yeah,
I think that's for sure going to be in the future. I'm curious if you have any kind of big, I don't know. I don't even know if you use a whiteboard, Tammy, but like when you sit down and you've got vision planning, okay, she's pointing. So she does have
I'm
one.
pointing. I have one behind my sofa.
Okay. So is there anything on that whiteboard, a big dream, a big goal, anything you'd be willing to share with us? Kind of what's big on the horizon for Tammy or for Wildfire, something that you've really wanted to see come to fruition?
There's a couple of things, but I can't say what those are because they're on the horizon for next year.
Top secret.
I'll share in due time, listeners, due time. But the biggest thing, and God has been telling me I'm going to be doing this at some point, getting me thinking about it, and that's writing a book. Now, it probably won't be on podcasting because there's like a gazillion books on podcasting, but with all of the experiences I've been given in my life, I feel there's a book in there somewhere. Maybe it's my journey with our special needs daughter. Maybe it's my time as a military wife. I mean, I don't know what that is. That's kind of the big dream right now is writing a book next. Yeah.
That's exciting. Well, you can bet at least on my purchase. I'll buy one or
thank you, friend.
10 or 50 copies. Line them all up on my shelf. Like, I know her. I remember when.
That's awesome.
That's right. That's how we spin those marketing statistics.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there any other occupation you think you would do other than podcasting in the future?
Maybe speaking. Maybe. We'll see if that would be my only gig. Just go and speak and do the thing. But who knows? Who knows what God's gonna call me to next. All I know is I'm having a blast doing what I'm doing. And I love being a podcaster, listening to podcasts, and then helping others with their podcasts. Mm. It's really the best. I have the best job in the world.
I agree. Well, last question, Tammy. How do you want to be remembered?
I would say that I was a good friend, sister, mom, daughter, boss. And that even if I just help one person, it'll all be worth all the things. And that I helped to grow podcasting for women and, of course, the faith-based community.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I think the future of podcasting is in good hands.
Thank you, friend.
If we've got women like you who are accelerating, helping other ladies tell their stories, more faith-based podcasters, more stories in the world, I think it's in good hands. So that's exciting.
Thank you.
Well, Tammy, any questions that you wish I had asked you here on your birthday episode?
No, but I did want to, the free coaching thing. So if you have not taken advantage of it, we've got like a week left. Go to Wildfire. What is the name of my website? WildfireCreativeCompany.com and go to podcast coaching. Then once you're on that page, then click on Let Me Help You. And you can sign up for a free coaching call with me.
So fun.
I only have a couple spots left. So if you're interested, take advantage of it. Well, Melody, thank you so much for doing this. I love you and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for not asking me too hard of a question.
Maybe next birthday.
Maybe next one. 51. There you go. But thank you everyone for tuning in to this very special episode of the Creative Cast. I am beyond grateful and honored to be with y'all each and every week. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm going to be taking a break for the next 4 weeks, but y'all don't worry. I've got you. I'm going to have episodes for you still to listen to. So we're going to be replaying our listeners' top 4 favorite episodes over the next 4 weeks. And I'll be back with a brand new episode on March the 6th. So friend, I believe in you. The imposter syndrome that I talked about, the overwhelm, the intimidation, the tech, don't let that stop you from meeting and crushing your goals this year. In 2023, let's make this year the best one yet. So let's continue our walk together so you can spend less time worrying about the details and more time spreading your message, answering God's calling, and most importantly, sharing your story. Thank you so much. I will talk to you guys in a few weeks. Bye, y'all.